Steven, good to see you, man. So glad to talk to you again.
Yes, sir. Good to see you too.
You're a reality fence veteran. I love it, man. You've been around for a while now. It's been over a year.
Yep, that's right. Love it.
I love it too. I want to what's give us an update on True Grit. What's going on? What's new with the business?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a bad time of year to be fencing, but we've been busy all winter, so really thankful for that. We've had a good winter. This week's probably been our slowest week yet, and we still got some hours in. So, I mean, you can see behind me, ground's covered in snow, so just a
Yeah,
bad time of year. But we've been getting with it and been getting her done.
I love it. I love it. Real quick, I know I'm not gonna. This question's not about reality fence exactly. This is for you're a successful business owner, and that's something that's hard to find. So a lot of people try and find like mentors or want advice. If someone was starting a business, what advice would you give them?
Don't be scared to spend the money to learn how to do it right to start with. You know, when I started out fencing, which I mean I've been around farming my whole life, so I've
Yeah.
been putting up barbed wire since I was old enough to walk. But when I started doing like residential fencing, the first thing I did was, go to YouTube, go to TikTok, to watch videos, stuff like that. And then I realized, Sean King was an hour from me. So when I realized that, he come down and brought a man with him and helped me do my very first privacy fence. And
Okay.
and I could go back, I could go back to that fence today with holding my head high and say, I built this fence, and it still looks good today. So don't try to figure it out the hard way. I guess that would be my advice.
So go find an expert, find the best person at whatever you're trying to do and learn from them.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, pick one thing and be great at it. You know,
Yep.
all we do is fencing. We don't do fencing and siding and roofs and decks. All we do is fencing. So pick one thing and be great at it.
Be the best at what you do, and that's how you get referrals, right? That's how people are so good at what you do. It's hard not to refer.
Right.
Right. What's one lesson you've learned since you started, and how long have you been in business, and what's the biggest lesson you've learned?
We've been in business about 2 years now, so we're still getting our feet wet and still learning a lot of those lessons. I guess my biggest lesson is everyone, everyone's not your customer. So just because you don't get every job, that's not always a bad thing. There's
Yeah.
some jobs you don't want to get, and it's not your job to make everybody be able to afford you. You know, you can't be the cheapest and stay in business and do
Yeah.
quality work. So, not everyone's your customer.
Okay.
That's my biggest lesson that I had to learn the hard way.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because some people take it personally when
Right.
when it wasn't a good fit. And at the end of the
Right.
day, I almost feel like if you're not going to help each other make progress, it's not a good business relationship anyway, you know?
Right.
Absolutely. On the reality fence boat, you've been here for a year. What have the sales done at like each month? Like what do you think the boost has been after a longer time period?
I would say probably 40%, 40 or 50%, because we're the only ones in the area that can show people what their fence looks like in their yard. None of my
Yeah.
competition is doing this. None of my competition is giving the customer the option to see what vinyl looks like versus wood privacy fence, or aluminum versus black chain link. None of my competition's offering that, and we got a great sketch at the end of the estimate. We got a great sketch. We can attach that to the estimate. That's really nice. That's one of my favorite parts of it, is just a sketch. it's something simple, but at the same time, it's something that's really useful and a good tool to have in your back pocket.
For sure. So like the story, that's what I wanted to really you're so great with Reality Fence. Someone who's just starting with Reality Fence, like what advice would you give them that's starting out like using this tool?
I mean, honestly, it's very user friendly. So just download the app and give you or Gladstone one a call. I mean, y'all make it so easy because y'all are so easy to get along with, so easy to talk to. So you can't really go wrong with it.
For sure. Thank you. And then how about like when you're in the field, when you're at the customer's house, like what advice would you give the sales rep that's like, "Hey, I'm just pulling up to this job and I'm about to use Reality Fence for like maybe the first time or the first couple times." Like what would you tell them?
Leave your tape measure and your measuring wheel in the truck. Uh, that'd be a good starter. You don't need any of that. And it's. I think I seen this in one of your videos. I know I did actually. You know, get the fence up and flip it to camera mode and let the customer hold it. Let them walk around because it's awesome. Because some people's got a really big backyard, but they can't afford to fence all of it, and they just want to do part of it. So you could put up, say say if their backyard is big enough for, let's just say, 400 feet. You could, but they don't have 400 feet in their budget. You could put up 250 feet of fencing and
Yeah.
show them the size of it, let them walk around, hold the phone, and they can get a really good idea. Yeah, this is perfect. This is plenty big enough for my dog, or no, we need to go a little bit bigger.
So like what's their reaction when they feel that that fence is theirs almost for a second, you know?
Right. Oh, they're blown away. It's awesome. Everyone's always really impressed with it. It's really nice.
So how does that make you feel showing up with that?
I mean, it just it gives you some confidence. Like I said, I'm the only one that's offering that in my area, so I say jump on board, and that way you can stand apart just like we are.
For sure. Okay, another story. So I remember last time you told me that when someone wants a chain link fence, and you mentioned it also for a second on this conversation, that you'll also like show them an aluminum one. But it wasn't like a lot of times I feel like if you didn't
Right.
have Reality Fence, it's almost like tough to say, hey, here's another option that's more expensive. So like I want to dig into the
Right.
psychology almost of kind of just showing someone a picture of an upsell and like how are you doing that because you're successfully doing that.
Just find a good angle. Go ahead and put the fence where they want it, and find a good angle where it looks good against their house. Take a picture of whatever it may be. They may want wood privacy or vinyl. And you could take that picture and show them what the wood privacy looks like. Show them what the vinyl looks like. When you leave the job, or even before you leave the job, you could send that to them easily in a text, and it's got all your information right there on it. And if they've got a picture of black chain link and a picture of black aluminum, and the black aluminum just blows it out of the water and makes it look so much better, and looks better in their neighborhood, looks better against their house. You know, they can kind of justify spending the extra money.
Right. And it's really as simple as just kind of send them both pictures, you know, like hey, just send them the
Yeah,
comparable.
absolutely.
So it's like that's
Yeah,
different
absolutely.
than if we were showing them, you know, it's as a sales rep, you know, sometimes it's tough to try and upsell someone and like the way you approach that, but it kind of feels like it's your in to just send them both pictures and let them decide.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
And
because it's hard to say. We can do black chain link for 4,500, But if you want, we've got a better option, which is black aluminum, but it's going to be 7,400. You know, it's
Right.
hard for them to justify the extra money until they can see what it looks like in their neighborhood, what it looks like against their house. You know, you can, if they got a nice looking car, you can try to fit that car in the
Right.
background. And you know, once they see that aluminum with that with that Tahoe sitting behind it, you know,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
they like the way that looks.
I think so. A mentor once taught me about sales that there's like a push, like I'm pushing something onto you, and then there's a pull. You want to
Right.
like pull the customer in. You don't want to push it against them. And I feel like with like even on the upsells, if you're like pushing an upsell, that's tough. But just sending them both pictures, it's kind of pulling them in, is what you're telling me. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a pull. It's a pull. Um, honestly, that like that we just covered like so much. Honestly, for someone
Right.
who's in year two, where are you located? Um, and if someone wants to get in touch with True Grit, you're the best fence in town.
I like to
What's it
think
gonna be
so.
like when you show up to sell them a fence?
I mean, it's going to be a great experience. You know, we're going to show up professionally to give the estimate, and you know, we're going to show up professionally to do the job, and we got great guys working for us, so it's going to be a good experience all the way around.
Okay, if I was buying one, here's some quick questions. If I was buying a fence tomorrow, what's your favorite kind of fence?
I would say my favorite fence to install would probably be one I sold yesterday. Actually, is the King Plus horizontal. You know, it's
Nice.
that's a very attractive fence. We put a decorative cap that we make in house on every top of every post. Just a super attractive fence, and it goes up good, goes up quick. You know, my guys like building it. Looks good in your yard, and it stands apart from your traditional just picket privacy fence. You know, I think everyone's kind of getting tired of looking at just your traditional picket privacy fence. So
Yeah.
you could go with the horizontal and not break the bank, but at the same time have a more modern looking fence, and you get a lot of bang for your buck, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, it's like aesthetically pleasing and doesn't break the bank, like you said. Absolutely.
And I ain't trying to cut you off, but one thing I want to mention is, you know, I've done a lot of fencing for people out of state that's moving
Yeah.
in from out of state. So it's awesome being able to communicate with them. They might, you know, I might meet with their realtor. You know, I might not even meet with them. They may be, you know, for example, I did a fence for a lady that moved from Arizona, and I was able to show her what the fence looked like when she was in Arizona. I mean, of course,
Right.
she looked at a house before she bought it, but she was in Arizona, and I was able to put the fence up where I thought was the best location and walk around and video that and take pictures and send to her. So, I mean, that's another big thing about Reality Fence. You know, if you got customers that can't be present, you know, that's awesome.
Right, because you can just there's like they say like a picture has like 1,000 words, but this is like somehow more. I feel
Right,
like it's
right,
more. Yeah.
right. Yeah, I mean, take the scenery behind me. You know, that's my daughter's riding arena. You know, say if somebody wanted one of those, but they don't know what size to go with.
Yeah.
Because if you Google, you know, riding arenas, if you look up the size, there's probably 5 or 6 different sizes you can go with. There's not really a set in stone size. So you could show them what you know, this is 100 by 200. You could show them what that would look like. Or you
For
could
sure.
show them, you know, a 150 by 150 and so forth. You know, so that's a big advantage. There's just so many advantages to Reality Fence.
I appreciate it. And it's one of those things that I kind of feel like it's just the way of the future that like everyone's gonna kind of like know exactly what they're getting before they get it. Whether it's like on Amazon, like I don't know if you ever shop on Amazon and you see like the like a table or something, you can see it in your room. Can you hear
Absolutely.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
So and like when the home more and more homeowners every day, when companies like Amazon are using this, show it in your room, they're kind of expecting an interactive experience like that. So I'm hoping that it's just the way of the future, and we're just early adopters.
Right. Yeah, I agree 100%. Uh, kind of like Sean King says, we don't build fence like your granddad did. And there's a reason we don't build fence like your granddad did. And now there's a reason we don't do estimates like your granddad did.
Right.
Things is getting better. You hear old timers say they don't build it like they used to. Well, there's a reason we don't build it like we used to. It's getting better.
For sure. Absolutely. Is there anything else you wanted to touch base on before we wrap this up?
I think that's it. Just it's awesome app. Y'all need to go sign up for it, download the app, and it's super user friendly, and y'all are great to get along with. If I can use this app, anyone can. I mean, it's awesome.
For sure, man. Thank you so much. Oh, are you coming to Fence Tech? You're gonna make it work or no?
Probably not. Next
Okay.
time they have one in Nashville, I'm going to try to make that one. But
Okay.
this one coming up, I believe it's about a 24-hour drive, something like that. So
Oh man, yeah, that's far.
yeah, for sure.
For sure. Well, next time, man, and thank you so much for hopping on. We'll do it again for sure. Absolutely. I always love talking to you, and like, thanks so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good one, bud.
You too.